Big news, the very first XRP ETF has been approved and is set to launch on April 30th. Now, while this might not be the ETF everyone was hoping for, it's still a major step forward. In this video, I'll break down exactly what this ETF is, how it works, and why it's different from some of the other ETFs expected to roll out later this year. But that's not all. XRP Futures have also hit the scene, signaling that tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $34,000 in profits with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. Traditional finance is finally warming up to XRP. So, what does this mean for its price? There's been a lot of buzz around whether these developments will impact XRP's supply and demand, with many of these being cash settled. We'll dive into what that really means and when XRP itself might come into play. Get ready, because 2023 is shaping up to be the year TradFi makes its move on XRP in a big way. I'll explain how this could spark a price surge and why you need to stay ahead of the curve. And let's dive straight into it. Big news, the XRP ETF has finally gone live, something the crypto world has been buzzing about for ages. But before we get too hyped, let's take a closer look. Here's the thing, this ETF is futures-based, which means it tracks XRP's price performance but doesn't actually hold any XRP in reserve. What does this mean? Well, it gives investors exposure to XRP without directly affecting the token's supply and demand. Unlike a spot ETF which buys XRP directly from the market, this one simply mirrors price movements, leaving the open market untouched. That said, this is still a major milestone. Mark your calendars because it's set to go live on April 30th. Futures ETFs are often the first step towards spot ETFs, which really could shake things up. So while this isn't the game changer yet, it's definitely an exciting move in the right direction. In my view, this all but guarantees that we're on the brink of seeing those ETFs go live. Think of this as the first step in the right direction, a signal that the SEC is gearing up to approve spot ETFs. More importantly, it hints at an SEC willing to greenlight XRP products with real merit, allowing them to enter the traditional market. This is a massive leap forward, paving the way for more innovative and game-changing products to cross the finish line. Products that could have a significant impact on XRP's price. While this particular product doesn't consume or lock up XRP directly, it's incredibly exciting because it essentially marks the SEC's approval of XRP TradFi offerings in the US. Mark your calendars for April 30th, when this crucial milestone is expected. In my opinion, this lays the groundwork for spot XRP ETFs to launch this summer. ETFs that could truly influence XRP's supply and reshape its future. Over the last few days, we've seen the launch of another fascinating product, XRP Futures on the CME. It's quite similar to the ETF we just discussed, as both are designed to let traditional investors speculate on the price movements of XRP. What makes these products so intriguing is how they work. Both are cash settled. Think of it this way, instead of buying or selling the actual XRP token, you're essentially placing a bet using cash on whether XRP's price will rise or fall. It's all about predicting the direction without ever holding the underlying asset. A bold new way to engage with XRP's market movements without actually diving into the crypto pool. A lot of people are brushing this off as a nothing burger, but they're missing the bigger picture. Sure, this doesn't directly consume XRP, but that doesn't mean it won't influence XRP's price. Just because this product isn't using XRP today doesn't mean products that do aren't on the horizon. In fact, we're looking at some exciting possibilities down the line. Think XRP spot ETFs, futures that settle in XRP, real game changers, but you've got to walk before you run. The first wave of products will be cash settled, laying the foundation for more advanced XRP NEVIV products in the future. This is a critical step to pave the way for what's coming next. So, why should you still be excited? Two big reasons. First, this opens up exposure to XRP for people who never had access before. And second, it's a clear sign that momentum is building. People can now trade XRP futures, and while these trades don't directly consume XRP, they can still influence its price. Let me explain. If a large number of traders jump into the futures market and start buying XRP futures, they're essentially driving up the perceived value of XRP. Imagine someone pays $3.00 for an XRP future. Suddenly, traders in the spot market see that and think, wait, if it's trading at $3.00 in futures, the spot price should rise too. This can create a ripple effect, pun intended, where the futures market influences the value of XRP even though it doesn't involve the actual asset. It's a bit like wrapped tokens or derivatives. Even if they aren't the underlying asset, they carry a perceived value that can sway the market. It's all about human psychology and how value is interpreted. Complex? Sure. But this is how markets work. And futures trading is another layer in the fascinating world of crypto. If the futures market is buzzing and speculating that XRP is worth $3.00, the spot market will eventually need to catch up to close that gap. Whether or not people are buying the actual XRP, it's still traders driving the market and deciding its value. This is just the beginning. More sophisticated products are on the horizon. What's exciting is how this opens up XRP's price to a whole new audience who previously couldn't access it. Futures play a massive role in the global economic system. At their core, they're designed for price speculation. That's their bread and butter. Historically, futures were created to hedge commodity risks. But today, they've evolved into powerful tools shaping the way we trade and invest. Imagine you're buying a ton of a commodity and constantly stressing about price swings, up or down. That's where futures come in. Think of them as your safety net, letting you offset price changes so you don't end up in a tough spot. Futures are a go-to hedging tool, especially for big financial institutions. They're not just a smart tactic, they're essential. Here's where it gets interesting. Futures are paving the way for institutions to dip their toes into assets like XRP. These organizations might want to explore XRP, but aren't ready to dive in headfirst and take on all the risk. Futures give them a way to hedge their bets, reduce risk, and stay protected. For these institutions, it's not about being tied to the underlying token, it's about being able to invest while safeguarding themselves against potential losses. Futures and advanced financial tools like these are creating a bridge for larger players to enter the crypto market with confidence and caution. Although, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't about buying XRP directly off the spot market, the buzz generated by these products can still boost XRP's perceived value. That excitement alone can drive up spot market prices, making the underlying XRP token trade higher, whether or not it's being purchased directly behind the scenes. I get it. This concept might feel a bit tricky to grasp, but think of it this way. If an IOU is trading at $4.00, while the actual XRP token is at $2.50, the market clearly sees $4.00 worth of value somewhere. Eventually, those price gaps get noticed, and you can bet someone's going to act on them. As the IOU price climbs higher, the spot market will inevitably catch up. It's just a matter of time. Of course, things would be much smoother if all of this happened directly on the spot market, driven purely by the token's natural supply and demand. But hey, we're taking baby steps here. The focus right now is to spark interest in XRP within traditional finance circles, and these two products are a fantastic gateway. In my opinion, they're practically paving the way for the actual underlying asset to enter the spotlight very, very soon. And if you look at how XRP is responding to all this buzz, the reaction has been nothing short of overwhelmingly positive. XRP is finally breaking free from that long-term resistance we've been trapped under since late March. After months of battling, we're seeing the downtrend crumble, signaling a potential reversal. And honestly, this is looking very promising. It feels like XRP is saying, all right, we've consolidated enough after that massive 600% pump, and now it's gearing up to push for new highs. If XRP can climb to the 250 range, we'll officially have a full reversal. At that point, the stage will be set for XRP to really take off and make some serious moves to the upside. I'm expecting this to play out in the next few weeks. If XRP manages to hit that target, we could finally put all the bear market chatter behind us and shift into some truly exciting price action. A few key factors could be driving this. First, we might be seeing the futures market heating up, signaling strong institutional demand for XRP. When that happens, the spot price often plays catch-up, driven by the momentum in the futures market. This is one of the most exciting aspects of futures trading. It's not directly tied to spot XRP, but it still reflects how bullish institutions are on the asset. Over time, these price gaps typically close, and hopefully they close higher. Another big driver could be the growing realization that institutional use of XRP in spot markets is just around the corner. As these futures products and ETFs start going live, people are likely to connect the dots and see that it's only a matter of time before actual XRP trading becomes a staple on traditional financial platforms. And that's the truly thrilling part. XRP has climbed to its current position with only tens of millions, maybe $100 million moving into it. Now imagine what happens when institutions start pouring in hundreds of millions or even billions in a single day. That's a level of activity XRP has never experienced before, and we are standing on the brink of it. For the longest time, the market lacked truly sophisticated products. But now, that's changing, and fast. Innovations we thought were years away are unfolding right before our eyes. Case in point, spot ETFs are already up for approval. The launch of these two new products, in my view, cements the likelihood of spot ETFs going live this summer. This could bring in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars into XRP, a scale of investment the ecosystem has never experienced. XRP's price has always been hypersensitive to small cash influxes, but now we're talking about a tidal wave of money like nothing the space has ever seen. Congrats on staying ahead of the big financial players. You're getting a sneak peek at the behind the scenes, whispers about new products rolling out, products that will eventually pave the way for game-changing big league offerings. These are the ones that will flood the ecosystem with massive volume. I get it. Everyone's eager for those main spot ETFs to go live immediately. But that's just not how the process works. What matters is the progress we're seeing now. It's proof these steps are happening, and for the first time ever, we have near certainty that spot ETFs for XRP will land on some of the world's largest brokerages and financial platforms. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this update as exciting as I did.